Hi everyone, welcome to Back to School Night. I have to say that this is my first time doing a Back to School Night video, especially from my dining room. So I hope that this comes across clearly. I will say right away though that after the presentation tonight, I will email this video to everybody so that you can share it with someone who maybe wasn't able to attend or watch, or just watch it in your spare time for fun. So thank you for your patience, and let's get started. I'll start off by just sharing a little bit about myself. I graduated from Lafayette College many, many years ago, and I have my master's in ed leadership and my supervisor certificate and principal certification from Montclair State. Hard to believe this is my 20th year teaching. I know I've had some of your other children in years past. Time is just flying. It's crazy. A little bit about my own children. I have Kaylin, who's 10, and I have Kira, who's 6. Kaylin's in 5th grade, Kira's in 1st. And then I have my dog, Hannah, who is my firstborn, of course. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the hybrid and remote learning schedule. At this point, you've probably seen something like this already because it is posted in my home-based classroom, which is where students find most of their sort of important day-to-day information, like when the groups will be meeting in the afternoon or what special there is for that day. We start with our arrival time. I do ask that my friends who are remote or my group that is home for the day logs into my Zoom, around 8:30, 8:25, because I do take attendance by around 8:35. So I want to make sure that I see everybody's face before then. We move through our writing lesson for the day. Then we usually do a little brain break. Then we have our reading lesson. Then we have a mask break or recess, which if you're in school means that if the weather is okay, we get to go outside for a little while, take the mask off and get some fresh air, have some water and things like that. If you are home, that means you're stretching your legs, using the bathroom, having a snack, whatever you'd like. And then we are back ready to roll at 10:15. And at 10:15, we are doing either science or social studies. We're starting with social studies this year. So after a unit of social studies, we will move into science. After that, we have math, and then we have our special. And the specials teachers, as you know, are coming into the classroom, and they are sort of taking over my Zoom call usually so that they can and talk to both the kids at home and in class at the same time. The only one that doesn't really work like that is Jim. When Mr. Cinco comes in, if the weather's nice, he will take my in-class students outside, and my home students for that day will log into Mr. Cinco's Google Classroom and do whatever activity he has posted there. And then we have pack up and dismissal, and a break for lunch and relaxation. And then we will have our PM session from 1:45 to 2:50. There are times when I will do that PM session from school. Sometimes I will do it from my house. It kind of depends on what's going on with my own kids that day. At any rate, I will talk a little bit more about the afternoon sessions in a few slides. Let's move along. I'm just going to briefly discuss each subject area. In writing, those of you who are familiar with Writer's Workshop from the past few years kind of know the story about writing. We have writer's notebooks. We take pieces through the writing process, and we have some published pieces in 4th grade that we'll be working on, which are personal narratives, realistic fiction, persuasive writing, nonfiction writing, and fantasy writing. Because of the situation we're in right now, you can expect, even though they're writing in their notebooks right now, a good portion of their writing will probably take place on their Chromebooks because it makes it a lot easier for me to check and to save. In reading, we will be doing reading workshop. We will be doing guided reading. We're going to be working on just building our stamina as readers. I've talked to them a little bit about this already. The fact that we need to be able to sit and read silently is an important skill for us as we move forward from 4th grade. One question that a lot of students have had, and we hope to have some more answers soon, are reading assessments. We have used Fountas and Pinnell reading assessments in the past, and we are discussing the best way to kind of go about administering that test this year. Right now, we are going to be working off of the last reading assessments that were done in school, which are from 3rd grade. So we're definitely going to be giving them some flexibility in the levels of books that they can choose from, because we assume they've made some progress, but we've also gone through some really weird times, so we're not really sure what to expect with where their reading levels might be. So kind of just stay tuned on that one, and we'll let you know when we know. Spelling, we still have the Word Journeys program, which is not new to you if you have been in this school for a while. There are 2 spelling groups that your child might fall into in 4th grade, and wherever they're developmentally appropriate is where they land. At the beginning, we will start with some whole group lists, and each list consists of some high frequency words that the students need to know, and we're hoping that we have access to Spelling City, because with all of our online learning, Spelling City is a great resource. We've used it in the past. We just need a little bit more time to find out if we can access that this year. So again, stay tuned for that. Generally speaking, students will have homework each night in math. My in-class students for the week will usually be doing their homework in their books, and my students for the week will usually be doing their homework online. So we just kind of need to get into the swing of it, but they've been doing a great job so far. 4th graders definitely still need to keep practicing their math facts. This is a big year. We do lots of multiplication, long division, lots of fractions, and knowing your math facts, multiplication facts, is something that is essential. We also really encourage students to use math vocabulary, and we have a math vocabulary wall in the classroom, and we use those words as much as we can. Think Central is something that a lot of students are familiar with now that we had our remote spring learning last year, but we have spent some time in the past week going over Think Central. Everybody was able to log on. We've completed a mid-chapter checkpoint in Think Central, and there will be some assignments that students will have in Think Central. In social studies in 4th grade, we talk about the United States government, the geography of the United States. We focus on the 5 regions of the United States, and there will be some quizzes, some tests, and some projects along the way. And in science, we are implementing the next generation science standards. We do split our science responsibilities in 4th grade. So the soil, rocks, and landforms unit is taught by Mrs. Ligori and Ms. Fitzpatrick, who's new to our school this year. She works in the same classroom with Mrs. Ligori. Energy will be taught by Mrs. Guyton. I will also teach part of the energy unit, not with Mrs. Guyton. I'll be teaching a separate part of that same unit, and Mr. Medora will be teaching environments. We don't really do tests and quizzes in science so much as we do performance assessments. We will see how that all pans out with our learning this year. So I wanted to talk for a minute about afternoon sessions. And our afternoon sessions right now, we just kind of put this together. We were brainstorming as a grade level what might work best. And our afternoon sessions are going to work on a Monday through Friday schedule rather than an A day through F day schedule. So we have basically every afternoon is split up into 2 half-hour sessions, 1:45 to 2:15 and 2:20 to 2:50. Mondays, we're going to be using our afternoons for introduction of our spelling word lists to our classes. I will be splitting the class and doing that lesson 2 times during that period of time. We also will be using our afternoons on Tuesday to do some grammar and mechanics, because our writing time is so short during the school day that we don't have a lot of time to add that in, so we thought the afternoon would be a nice time for that. Wednesday, we will have a whole group spelling lesson at the beginning of session 1, and then when students go to work, I will have my Zoom open for student and parent concerns or questions, or if I need to be pulling some groups of kids. Thursday, we will be reviewing a math concept from the week that maybe students have been struggling with or that we didn't quite get to finish. That will be a whole group lesson. And then again, after that, I will be around for students who are struggling or for parents who might be home and have a question for me. You can pop on and ask me that at that point. And then Fridays, we're trying to kind of keep it light. We're going to have a fun Friday afternoon session where we have the whole class doing a game or a social emotional learning activity, just something to wrap up the week before we head out for the weekend. I have some reminders and some odds and ends for us. So students, of course, are expected to wear masks, and they have been doing a great job. They definitely do not seem as bothered by it as some of the adults do. It's hard to talk all day with a mask on. I'm getting used to it now, but the kids are doing great. Pack an extra mask or two, just in case something happens to the mask that your child is wearing. I do have extras in the classroom in case something happens, so not to worry. Let me move myself up out of here for a second. Progress reports and conferences. So in fourth grade, students begin getting letter grades. That's something that you will see on the report cards. Conferences most likely will be virtual, so you'll be hearing more about that as we get closer to them in the fall. Instrumental music is like a big thing that happens in fourth grade. Unfortunately, things are going to look a little different this year. We still, of course, are offering band, orchestra, and chorus. If you have questions about those things, please email Mr. Derman, Mr. Grego, or Ms. Spano, and they can get back to you with further clarification on those schedules. Those lessons will also be during the afternoon sessions, so your student potentially could be pulled from some of those afternoon classes, just as if we were in school and they were pulled from classes for instrumental music. So just making you aware that that is coming. Okay, this is probably my favorite thing of my whole year so far, and the students might have told you that I'm like a little bit crazy about it. This is my Bitmoji Classroom. So I promise that I won't harp on this for too long, but this is our digital resources classroom, and I'll add to it as we have more digital resources. This is found in the home-based classroom also, where the students find their schedule and things like that. Anything that they scroll the mouse over that ends up looking like a little hand is actually a link, and it will take you directly to the website for whatever it is that you're scrolling over. So if I needed the link to the math website, I could click the math book. If I needed the link to the social studies book, I could click the social studies book. If I need the link to Mrs. Needenpier's library page, I could click this library stand over here. And the same goes for everything up top. Their homework is over here in this green sign that says keep calm and enjoy homework. If you click on that, their homework assignments will appear. So that was something kind of fun that I was playing around with in my spare time. Google. What more needs to be said? This year, your children are going to be using everything Google. Chromebooks need to come to school charged each day. This is huge. Of course, the students who are at home are going to be using the Chromebooks a little bit more often, but students in school are going to be using them each day as well. So they need those in school for any assignments that might be given out electronically or for special teachers who might need them to use it. So get used to sticking that in the backpack fully charged. Zoom. All right, well, you've probably all heard me at some point on a Zoom call. And if you haven't, then tonight is your night. Our students are pretty good with Zoom. We are talking a little bit about Zoom etiquette, things that you do and don't do on a Zoom call. We are actually pretty good at muting when we're not talking on Zoom calls. I did talk to them about using the chat function of a Zoom call only for academic purposes. So if they have a question they need to ask me, they can type it to me in a Zoom if I'm not calling on them, and I'll let them know the answer. One thing that I have mentioned to them, and I will ask you guys to help me out with this too, is actually two things. The two biggest things that I've noticed are I would love for students, at least during the lesson part of everything, to not be laying in a bed or like on a couch. I'd love to see them maybe like sitting at a table or something a little bit more academic. I know that when I'm home, I want to be laying in my bed too, but it makes the rest of us jealous. And also, and I've mentioned this to the students also, if there is a place in your house where the internet is weaker than others, try not to sit in that space. I mean, we can't help our internet connections. There are times when it is not great at school, and there's unfortunately not much that I could do about that. But if you know there's a spot that's not particularly wonderful, try to find a spot that's stronger for your child to sit during the course of the school day. Emailing me is definitely the easiest way of getting in touch with me, probably. I'm usually pretty quick at responding to people. I don't even know what my phone extension is at school, so email me because I'll email you back. And this year is a little bit different because we are going like full force from 8:30 till the kids leave at 12:30. So if I don't get back to you during the morning and you emailed me in the morning, I will get back to you in the afternoon when I have time to sit down and check my email. And most of all, I just really wanted to thank everybody. This is pretty much as far from a normal year as any of us have ever had. And like I said in this slide, while there are bound to be speed bumps along the way, I really appreciate the support that you guys have shown even so far this year. I know there's going to be some problems, but we will figure them out and get through them, and we will figure out how to make everybody succeed. We did it in the spring with remote learning. We will do it now with hybrid learning, and we will adjust accordingly as the year goes on. So again, thank you so much for everything. I'm going to flip back to my Zoom call now and take some questions.